For my fourth quarter project, I chose the civic value of initiative. Um, I felt that initiative showed throughout the whole year between the books we were reading in English and what we were learning in history class. For our first quarter, I chose a person from history that we were learning. I chose Sam Adams. I chose him because he was a huge part of like many things in history, such as he was involved in the Stamp Act and he helped organize the Boston Tea Party. He took the initiative by starting and helping those things, even though it took like a lot of risk. So he also showed courage, but if he hadn't have started what he did, he wouldn't have gotten so far in life how he did with everything else he did. He also helped form the Committee of Correspondence, which was a good communication tool during the Revolutionary War. It helped the government as well as the people who were involved in the committee be able to talk to one another in a way and communicate things in a way that was like respectful and peaceful, where they could talk about anything while war was going on. He took he in the initiative that was involved was that he helped create something new and he went above and beyond like what he was normally supposed to do. He also supported the US breaking away from the central power of Britain, which many people wanted in that day and age. Overall, I chose him for initiative because he took he started somewhere and he went on to do greater things from it, and he got involved in all of these different things, even though like he could have gotten in trouble by Britain and he could have been completely like shut down. He had like the strength to go and do that. For my second quarter person, I chose General Robert E. Lee. He was one of the Revolutionary War's heroes, actually. He served 17 years as a General Corps engineer and was one of the finest officers in the United States Army. He then joined the Confederate Army, where he had many victories. Lee was forced to surrender to General U.S. Grant, where he had to give up and he was imprisoned for a little bit of time, but then got out and was watched over very carefully. Um, General Robert E. Lee represents initiative because he took charge, directed people, he did what he did to the best of his abilities, and was working extremely hard towards it. He started somewhere which was kind of like at the bottom and worked his way up to the top. He was taking every opportunity he could to better himself. So he took initiative through like not necessarily education in school, but education in warcraft and battle and just learning like other people's strengths and weaknesses. And he was recommended by like many of his peers, so that showed like how much he was well known. So that was how he took initiative. In the third quarter, I'm choosing a literary character. I'm choosing Atticus from To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. He had great initiative. Um, he was one of the first people to really defend an African American person, like full heartedly and like truly believed and fought for this guy. He showed his daughter and son that everyone should be equals in the eyes of the laws, even though others may not think that. He didn't win the case, but he didn't need to because he got his point across. He took the initiative by starting a movement. He didn't have to stick up for this guy. He could have backed out of the case at any time. Like, that was extreme courage that he had, but I think it was more so initiative because he was not only like the first to do it, but he put his heart into it and figured out a way where he could fully represent this guy, and he had a great chance of actually winning the case. But it was because of other people and stuff that he didn't win, because other people's personal opinion got involved into like the trial of the case. So like during town life and stuff, he was like, his children were kicked out at school because the kids found out from the parents that Jem and Scout's father were representing a black male, and that made life harder on the kids as well as the family, and it became strained. But he still stuck with it, and that just shows great initiative because he followed through with it and possibly made other people want to follow in his footsteps. Okay, so for the fourth quarter, I'm choosing Antonia from My Antonia. Antonia is a foreigner who came to the U.S. for equality and opportunity and freedom, and she moved west with her family. It was really hard to get what she had at an early age. She had to work throughout her whole life. She was one of her only people in her family who, when she first got to America, she made her first step to learn English so she could be able to communicate for her family. She had one of her neighbors, Jim, teach her, and they became really good friends. She showed that girls can be just as strong as guys, if not stronger, because she worked out in the field with all the guys, and she became very masculine in that sort of sense, and very man-like at one point in her life. And then she went into the town life, which showed a softer side of her because she was doing housework there and she was taking care of the kids. So it was kind of like she was a maid slash nanny type of thing, what we would call in modern day. But she still would like go out with her friends and stuff and have her fun, but she still would like come back and work really hard. She took the initiative by starting her education and stepping up for her family and working really hard so that they could have a better life. And when her father passed away, she stepped up by working in the farm instead of her mother doing it. She showed us what it was like to be a hardworking foreigner turned into a hardworking American from her old country to now. Initiative is really important in being an American because you have to be able to start something. You can't just go into everything thinking that you're just gonna fit right in with the plan and go with the status quo. You have to be able to start something from your own and follow through. You have to spark something inside of others to make them want to follow through with everything that you're planning and follow your plan. Overall, initiative is a huge part in American history and literature because many people go through life with different paths and stuff, and you have to learn to lead your own and how to help others beyond a path. So that's what I think is is what initiative represents throughout our lessons this year.